Good morning.
Good morning, Jesse. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good. You?
Great. Appreciate the time. Won't keep it for too long, but want to get into the Summer of Loud and talk about the album, get your opinion on a couple things.
Dig it.
Cool, man. So the Summer of Loud tour is super awesome. July 5th, going to be at Great Park Live in Irvine. And finally, a metalcore celebration, which you've got to be stoked about since you guys have been flying that metalcore flag since day one. And now we finally got a festival of all metalcore bands.
Yeah, I mean, for us, just the lineup is so stacked. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's going to be a big metal party for sure. For me, it's, hanging out with old friends as well. Parkway Drive, we know those guys really well, and they put on a hell of a performance. I Prevail. I mean, Beartooth, they're all just quality people and quality bands. And then there's a bunch of rotating openers. So you kind of can't go wrong with this tour.
No, man, and it's really cool how they're doing it. Four headliners, you guys, Parkway, Beartooth, and I Prevail, and all kind of rotating. So I imagine like 55 hour long set.
Yeah, about that. And it's cool too because there'll be some nights where we get to clock out early and hang out, and some nights where we're the headliner. So I like that. I think it's refreshing. It kind of mixes it up because when you're touring usually at the same time slot, you kind of go into muscle memory and you just go, the routine is broken up with this tour, which is nice. And it gives fans a chance to see different bands too, because our fans are coming to see us, Parkway's fans, et cetera, et cetera. And to be able to see that rotation, I think it's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, I'm just stoked that there's a traveling metal festival again. Like I miss those Ozfest and even, Warp Tour back in the day. I love just going to a show for one or two bands and then you discover three or four other bands and fall in love with them at the show, just seeing them live.
Yeah, I love playing those types of festivals, and I love being a part of it for sure. Or just being an audience member, because I go to festivals myself, and I think here in the States we need to keep up with that, man, because Europe has got us
Yeah,
beat. They got us beat. And, thankfully, someone like Danny Wimmer puts on pretty good festivals. I think
sure.
we need to have more of that in the States. There's definitely so much room for that. So yeah, for us to be a part of something that hopefully will continue on and inspire other people to do the same thing. Bring back the stuff like you mentioned those festivals, even Ozfest, like stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's exciting to me. I think we need more of that in the heavy world here in the States.
For sure, man. It's been great what Danny's been doing, but those are all like isolated festivals here or there. This is a traveling. Everyone's going to get a
Right.
chance to see. That's
Yeah,
what
we
I'm
need to get
super
back
stoked
to it,
about.
man. Come on, promoters, let's go.
I can't imagine it's got to be hard enough after 20 plus years of being a band to put together a set, especially with the new album out. Now that hour long gets crunched even more so. It's got to be impossible to come up with the set list.
Yeah, I'm one of the guys. I'm always pushing for the new stuff. I'm the guy in the band that's like new, new, new. But there are certain songs we cannot not play. So it's going to be a mixed bag. And I think what we're going to do is rotate certain songs in and out nightly, so we're
Ah.
not doing the same set every night because it is such a short amount of time. And to cram, 25, 26 years of a catalog into that amount of time is definitely a little thwarting and frustrating, but fans won't be disappointed.
No, man, I'm super stoked for it. And the thing I keep thinking about with all these different bands, all the different accents that are going to be backstage. I mean, all you guys from Boston, then you got, Parkway and Amity and all these bands from Australia. You got guys from the Midwest. There's going to be so many different accents backstage.
Yeah, accents and personalities for sure.
Yeah.
I look forward to that. I like being around a diverse of people. It just makes it more fun, and you get different perspectives as well. Especially when you get into conversations about, music or art or world events or food or getting pointers from people who travel as much as we do. It's nice to hear, where some people like to go have food or drinks and join. Hopefully, having little gatherings, we all go out together. Like I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff as well. Like trying to get some hangs in with some of our people.
Yeah, for sure. And, I don't want to dwell on it, but this tour obviously comes with a little bit of a heavy heart with the recent loss.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think Dave just being the brains behind this whole operation, at least part of the brains. So if anything, it's just in tribute to all his hard work and everything he did for every band he's ever worked with.
Yeah, and everyone on that flight.
Yeah, yeah, it's a tragedy, man. It's really hard to hear that kind of stuff, especially having it happen to such an amazing person like him. Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to, pay our respects to those who we lost, and it even hit close to me. My niece grew up with Emma, who was on board that day, so it hits on all kind of different levels. But just wanted to give them a shout out, and turning things around, talking about this latest album, man, this Consequence, a banger of an album. Took a little bit longer for us to get a new Killswitch album. Obviously, the pandemic figured into that, but I also think that this is probably the heaviest Killswitch album ever.
Yeah, I would say that it probably is, but it's also to me subject wise, as far as like things that I'm bringing to the surface are heavy topics. But I think that's, just take a look around where we are. I think that type of therapeutic artistic release is very necessary for people right now. You can't run and hide from what's going on. I definitely limit myself to the amount of doom scrolling that I do,
Yeah.
but you can't be ignorant to what's going on. And there's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of social injustice going on. There's a lot of betrayal. There's a lot of deception, half truths. So to me, it was kind of a no brainer to tap into that and really just sort of bring that, and not even just where we are now, but even looking at our past, humanity. Humanity is, we've been in tragedy for a very long time. And unfortunately, I don't see the end of but you have to keep the faith. You have to stay positive. You have to do your part in trying to make the world a better place. And I know that's a cliche thing to say, but it truly is a mission and something that we all need to be very aware of, even just in our daily lives, how we treat each other. So for me, it's really a lot about the message as well, not just sonically being heavy, but having lyrics that are important and speak to deeper subjects.
That's one thing that I've always loved about your lyrics, and especially in metal, can always be so doom and gloom, but you've always had that light at the end of the tunnel approach. And it's ironic that I talk about this being the heaviest album. At the same token, you've had your biggest radio song that I love playing and supporting with "I Believe."
Thank you. Yeah, I like that. I guess dichotomy of what we can do as a band. We can have a song like "The Fall of Us," which has blast beats and it's very aggressive, and it has probably one of the heavier breakdowns we've ever had in our career. But and then you can have a song like "I Believe," which it's catchy. Once I wrote that chorus, and people around me who were listening to the demo, they knew the chorus within one listen. I'm like, ha ha, I got you with the hooks. I love hooky music. I love music that you can sing along to. And my thought is, if we can put out a song that's catchy like that, what are you saying? What's the message? And to me, it was a prime opportunity to bring a little bit of that old unity in, and just telling people that it's gonna be all right. I harken back to Bob Marley, a song I will put on when I'm in a dark place. Three Little Birds, where he sings, "Don't worry about a thing, everything's gonna be all right." So that's kind of where I was coming from. That and like early U2 from like the late 80s, early 90s, where they
Hmm.
talked about keeping your faith and just hope for better days. I just, to me, it just was like, this is a no-brainer. I want this message to be spread as far out as it possibly can. And lo and behold, we have our highest charting single in the entire career of the band by far. So yeah, very cool. And thank you for supporting, and thank you for everybody for supporting it. I love hearing that it's being spread around the world.
Yeah, and how it passed the test for me. My wife, who's not a metal fan at all, loves the song. She was even into it first listen. That chorus stuck in her head too. So I was like, oh, they're really on to something with this one.
Bringing them in, just pulling them in. All the people who don't know who we are, you like that song? There's more. There's more. And I think that there's something for everyone with Killswitch, and that's what I like about our catalog too. There's stuff that, if you're not a Killswitch fan, come see us play. I guarantee you're gonna find something that you like. If not sonic wise, just like who we are as a band, the show we put on. It's fun. We're not just all, tough metal. There's a party atmosphere with Killswitch as well, which is another thing that I like about us. Like, we're a pretty fun band.
Oh yeah, the Adam D factor.
Of course, yeah.
Dude, I gotta say, I think my favorite tune on the album is "Where It Dies." I mean, you guys bring so much different influence to, but that one's got that little '80s vibe to it. I always love.
Testament thrash, yeah, that's what we call that one.
Yeah.
Testament's a big influence. I mean, we had Chuck Billy in our last record. We love, to me, Testament are one of the most underrated bands from that era. So yeah, 80s thrash is definitely part of our DNA, and I love that song too. Even just the intro before I even start really singing, when I hear that intro, I want to get down and start a circle pit. I love that song.
How was that, man? Calling Chuck to be on the record on the last album on
Unreal,
Atonement.
unreal, man. I mean, I remember hearing, excuse me, I remember hearing the takes after they came back. I was home alone, living alone at the time, kind of in a dark place, post divorce, not doing too well. And that song got sent to me, and I remember I was, single in my new house, and I just pressed play through my sound system, and I was running around my house like, yeah, so awesome. Chuck Billy on one of my songs. And that's The Crownless King, which is a very deep-rooted political song as well. And to have somebody who represents Native Americans on there talking about a crownless king, which you can sort of fill in the blanks there with what I'm talking about. False leadership in this country, which has been going on for decades, in my opinion. To have somebody like that on a protest song was awesome, and he's down with it too. So
It's rad what they're doing right now, going out and playing Practice What You Preach in its entirety, like a whole evening with storytellers presentation.
love
So
it.
cool.
They're
Dude,
legends, dude. Testament are absolute legends in my eyes.
I agree. I agree. One of my favorites of the thrash metal. Dude, speaking of collabs, you've been kind of stepping out. I don't know if it started during the pandemic, but it feels like you've been stepping out and doing all these different collabs, whether it's August Burns Red or Machine Head or Blackstone Cherry. But your latest one is a little bit different. Not only are you stepping out on a guest feature, but you're covering one of your own songs with Heaven Shall Burn and doing Numbered Days, and wanted to hear how that came about.
Yeah, I've probably done about 20 different collabs. I just finished one not 2 minutes ago. I'm hustling right now. I'm just trying to get my name out there. And the end game is, as I get older, I can start doing vocal production and helping bands write lyrics. And I'm just trying to do my behind the scenes. So I'm getting my name out there as much as possible
Ah.
to invite people to see that, I'm open to do this type of stuff. So that being said, the collaboration with Heaven Shall Burn was the easiest one of all. It was so easy. It dropped in my lap, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got this, no problem. I want to say it took me probably 20 minutes, like easy. Just recorded it in my studio, sent out the tracks. I was like, hope you like it.
No homework on that one. You just
None. I will say this though, what's cool is the spoken part during this version is a lot more aggressive. The one on Elaborate Just Breathing is sort of spoken and calm, and I ramped up this one and I'm kind of yelling the intro, so it already like starts with a much more aggressive feel to it.
and that was a big tune for you guys back in the day. I mean, that was one of the songs that kind of got Gitter and Roadrunner sniffing around at that time.
That was definitely the one that made people pay attention to what we were doing, and I think when you call out a phrase, the time approaches and it gets quiet. Especially for that time frame, it was very unique for the time it came out, and I'm proud of that song. I think it still holds up apparently, and it's really cool to see a band like Heaven Shall Burn, a band from Germany, overseas, and the legacy lives on, and we are all so grateful that people still care about that album, and to have that song redone, excuse me, is really cool.
Yeah, man. I got to tell you a funny story. Back in 2001, I think, or two, when that album first came out. Never forget Ro Coley, who was doing Street Team at Roadrunner. You may know. He's
Oh
got a
yeah.
mohawk like you.
Oh, I know
Stand,
Ro. I know Ro very well.
standing outside of the Showcase Theater in Pomona, he handed me that album and he said, "This is going to change metal." And he wasn't lying.
It's wild, man. Yeah, he's been a big supporter. The early Roadrunner days, man, those guys really had our backs. It was a magical time for Killswitch. And funny enough, a time when I actually bailed, which is a long. I look back on those days with fondness now, especially now seeing where we're all at, pushing, late 40s, 50 years old, and we're still going somehow. It's wild.
Yeah, it's great that you're back where you belong, and so glad that you've been back. I know it's been a while now, but just as a fan since day one, it's great that you're back and where you belong.
Yeah, I've definitely put in more years now than the Howard era, which is wild. We just recently got past that point, which is interesting. So this band is officially classic rock right now. We're officially a classic rock band. So, if we were that big on the radio, you could turn on mainstream radio and we'd be considered, the Zeppelin or whatever it is. Kind of funny, man.
Dude, I appreciate all the time, Jesse. Speaking of older bands, I got to get your help with something. We're an old school radio station. We do a feature called Mandatory Metallica every night at 10 p.m. And I've been having this little Metallica debate, me and my buddy, and I need your input on this, man. Debating their greatest thrash metal album ever and coming down on opposing sides. My buddy picks Ride the Lightning, where I picked Master of Puppets. If you had to choose one out of those two, which one would it be?
This is tough. This is very tough. I'm gonna go kill them all. How about that? If I had to pick between those two, Master, dude. I'm sorry, it is Master, and I'll tell you why. There are songs on Ride the Lightning that are some of my favorites, but as a whole, it's Master, dude. You can't. I mean, but that's really tough, man.
It is. I mean, they're
Really
both
tough.
great records. That's the point of it. But yeah, I just felt like the sound songwriting, the production was way better on Master.
Our solos are better, yeah. But for me, the album I listen to more than anything is Kill 'Em All. That one's just,
Ah,
yeah. That album is just raw. It's pissed off. There's some punk vibe in that. I think that's probably why I gravitate towards that one. But truth be told, my favorite Metallica song of all time is Blackened.
oh, and Justice.
Injustice. Yeah, that's the one for me. Just the way it starts and when
That
that shit kicks
swell.
in.
Ah,
Ooh, yeah. So there you go. There's my 2 cents.
yeah, it's funny you bring up Blackened because I was going to ask you to pick a song for Mandatory Metallica, but dude, that was the first Metallica tune I ever heard. My friend's sister playing it down the hall, and I was like, "What was that?" So,
That's when you learn what your neck can do because when those drums kick in, that's I can picture it now. Me as like a 10-year-old, just like, and then when it kicks in, to this day that song gets me amped. I want to throw things. All right.
dude, thank you so much for the time. Honored to get to talk to you, and can't wait for this summer of loud. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you, my man, and my condolences to the loss for
Yeah,
sure.
thank you, man.
All
Appreciate
right.
your time.
Take care, man.
See ya. Bye bye.